Planning Board meeting for August 4th, Tuesday. My name is Hazel Nurse. I'm chairman of the board. To my far left is Kristen.
Belanger.
Belanger, thank you, Chris. Who's our assistant town planner. Carolyn Regan next to her. Christina Keller next. John Bizzoni on my left. John Gelsich on my right. And Anne Marie Decker, our administrative assistant. Let's see, this is my call to order. Our next order of business is the open forum, but I will just make a note that from now on, the open forum will be at the end of the meeting and not at the beginning. But since it is on the agenda tonight to be on the beginning, we will have it at the beginning. Is there anybody who would wish to comment at the open forum this evening? Yes, ma'am. If you would make sure to give your name and address.
Here or there?
Yes, please.
Hello. Hi, my name is Julie Squires, 15 State Street. I serve on the Active Transportation and Safety Committee. At our June 15th meeting, it was reported by Planning Department Kristen B. that the Kimley Horn Rotary Design Final Report with recommendations was due at any moment. June 23rd, at the Select Board meeting, it was stated the final report was not received, that Select Board is waiting for the Planning Board recommendations. On July 6th, Active Transportation and Safety Committee meeting, it was reported by the town manager that the report had not been received. July 7th, Planning Board meeting, there was no mention of final report, and it was not on the agenda. On July 21st, Select Board meeting, it was mentioned that the report had been received. On the Town Planning Department website, there is a Kimley Horn report noted, June 2026. I believe this to be the updated report. Today, August 4th, at the Planning Board meeting, there's no mention of a final report or recommendations on the agenda. I'm requesting an update from the Planning Board of recommendations for this report. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Joanne Aramini, 7 Meadow Road. I'm here tonight to talk about the Active Transportation Plan project that is happening now. I have some concerns about it. My first concern is that there are no residents on the Active Transportation Plan Working Group. Members are town officials and 1 committee member. And of those people, only 2 actually live in Westborough, and one of them is the committee person, Don Byrne, who has major conflict of interest issues sitting on that working group. We, the residents, are paying the bill, and I think we should have representation on that working group. I know there are 2 public outreach meetings planned, but outreach meetings are not the same as being a participant on the work group, and I'd like to ask that you include some residents. Second concern is the project says that they will hold stakeholder interviews. Who are the stakeholders? They're not defined and they're not mentioned. Is the public going to be included as stakeholders? Again, we are the ones paying the bill. Third concern, the cost of the project, including maintenance costs and associated infrastructure costs, are not included in the prioritization process. Why isn't necessity and return on investment of a project included as part of the prioritization process? How do you do a project without knowing the cost? When you read the project, it reads as if every single project in that plan is going to be accomplished. The consultants say that they will deliver an implementation plan. There's no prioritization here. Instead, we have a pecking order of what's going to be done. The project talks about how existing plans and documents are going to be used, and that all sounds reasonable and it's appropriate. However, bad data equals bad outcomes. In other words, garbage in and garbage out. For example, some of the documents that are being used, the BWALT concept plan of 2015, almost 12 years old, the BWALT feasibility study of 2021, major issues with that. I can come back at another open forum and outline them for you, or you can watch the select board meeting, because I've been there multiple times outlining them. The master plan of 2021, again, I've made multiple comments about the master plan. It has multiple pages of high priorities. It's not been reevaluated throughout its lifetime at all. And the needs and the wants of the town have changed, and the master plan does not reflect those changes. And lastly, the downtown improvement plan is being looked at, and I think you all know what the public thinks about that. Last concern, as you read the presentation, the project seems to be focused on bikes. It says the consultants will include trail network, pedestrian network, and bicycle network. What about other transportation projects where the focus is safety for all users, including vehicles? This project is going to create another story map. We already have a story map, we have a complete streets project listing, and we have safe routes to school audit findings. And now we're going to get another regurgitated story map. What we don't have is a prioritization of all these projects based on cost, need, and return on investment per the public's input. We can't afford everything in this town. Our taxes keep going up. We have to make thoughtful choices. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak this evening?
Good evening, members of the board. Kevin Barry, 8 Indian Pond Road. The first comment I want to make is not necessarily directed at all the board members, but bottom line is something I've noticed with now open forum, 2 sessions, as well as public hearings. Is bottom line is when people take the time to speak, the least they should receive is eye contact, acknowledgement, and genuine consideration. Common courtesy. We're residents, business owners, property owners, your fellow residents, your board members, elected officials. Yet, when people speak, they shouldn't be looking at their computer screen. They shouldn't be looking at paperwork, whether they like the person or not. It's common courtesy. Pay attention. That's why it's there. My main crux of what I need to speak is transparency and communication. Bottom line is that's what we've been expressing in different projects, different things with town boards, committees, you name it, is we're looking for transparency and communication. Bottom line, the Downtown Improvement Project, as Julie well put, basically it's one of the most polarizing topics in town, aside from rising taxes. Both residents, business owners, and property owners made their concerns inexplicably clear. Basically, your joint meeting that you had with the select board obviously counted on the next steps, which is the final report from Kimley Horn. Yet basically, it was quietly posted out online. There was no announcement. There was no acknowledgement. And it's not an agenda item, right? So we're here now. As of August 4th, select board's waiting for that. You've had the report since mid-July is what we were told for the most part of the select board hearing, but basically there's no public discussion, no timeline has been shared, and there's no perspectives communicated. So for the most part is, with that next select board meeting is September 1st, we missed the opportunity to present something to the select board on August 18th, so we're talking mid-September to late September before this kind of moves along, leaving stakeholders in the dark. Bottom line, as Julie said, I respectfully request that we acknowledge these concerns publicly, clearly outline the timeline as far as reviewing the Kimley Horn report, finalize the recommendations and what the timeline is, and for the most part, most importantly, is engage in transparent dialogue out in the open, in discussions, not hidden in memos, not hidden in emails, but each one of your perspectives as far as that report and how you receive that and what your recommendations are. That's all we ask, transparency and communication, bottom line. And same thing as far as the active transportation plan, very minimal information is coming out of that, little regard as far as public interaction. And last but not least, the elephant in the room is the Attorney General notice on the defect as far as that public notice. If anybody didn't pay attention to it, they wouldn't have seen it in that community advocate legal notice section. So thankfully someone did notice it and brought it to people's attention, but has not been openly acknowledged by anybody, by any town official, let alone the community advocate who got paid for that legal notice. Shame on them for not doing a story on that. Thank you for your time.
All right, is there anyone else who wishes to speak during the public hearing? If not, we will move to our agenda. First matter is public meeting is 228 Ruggles Street.
So as the board is aware, 228 Ruggles Street is a definitive subdivision plan that we have before us. We received an initial site plan from WDA, Barry's here to represent them. After comments received from departments and comments from abutters, they went back and revised the site plans to address some of those concerns, and they resubmitted a new site plan, a revised site plan to the portal. It's essentially almost a new project, so we went back and we got comments from all the departments again, as well as the peer reviewer. So at this point, CEI provided their peer review for the new revised plans as of July 23rd, And then WDA responded to those comments on July 30th. That was only a few days ago, so CEI has not had the opportunity to do the final, sign off of WDA's response. So we still need to engage that. But for the most part, WDA's addressed all of the concerns. They are going before the Conservation Commission at their next meeting on August 11th to talk about their NOI application. WDA also provided a response to the abutter comments in the portal as well. There's a revised stormwater report, and then we also asked him to do a revised narrative since lots of the things changed, and he updated the waiver requests on that. And then Barry's here. He was just going to go through some of the changes, I believe.
I
Do you
think
want me
there
to-
were, 6 items which were the problem that he needed to address on this?
The waivers?
Yeah, the CEI report, I think there were 6 items that had not bore through. I think you sent us a note on that. The rest of the original.
Yeah, the most recent comments, I think everything's addressed, but like I said,
Okay.
CEI has to verify that
Right.
what he said was done
Right,
was
I feel
actually
that there
done
were
on the
about 6
plans.
items that I think
Yeah.
had to go through. Okay, Barry.
So primarily in the CEI
Barry, I
comments.
think, sorry, I think you need the mic.
Can't hear me? There we go. Primarily in the CEI comments, there was cleanup of inverts and some numbers and some descriptions to water mains and leaders and little things that they wanted us to clean up. The most recent issue that we had was the Zone A, where they wanted us to make sure that all our equipment and so forth was out of the Zone A. Any kind of discharge of stormwater and so forth was out of Zone A. We've pulled everything back. And this is the revised sheet that Kristen was talking about, where we've pulled the, that's the next one. Here's our Zone A. We pulled the pipe, made that a waterproof. It's a double-lined pipe with confinement. Moved the E1 out, directed the line up to the clean-out manhole, up to the street, and moved that forward out of the Zone 1. So I don't have any sewer, with the exception of this one portion to get out of the house. One of the residents in his comments referenced CMR regulations. Because this is a private force main, a private pump station, it does not fall under that criteria because we don't need to file a permit. However, we do because the town and their approval, the approval process for this will be through the Board of Health / DPW, and we don't need to file anything with DEP in regards to this, either one of those CMRs that were referenced. However, it still applies to be good judgment to keep as much out of the Zone A and eliminate any discharge possibilities. So that's why we've moved everything out and double contained the one pipe that I need to keep coming through that from the front of the house in here. We did do additional test pits up in the basins since the last, and they were all confirmed, our assumptions. They've been reviewed by CEI and discussed in the latest requirements. So long story short, I believe we've answered all their little comments that they had to clean up the drawings and address the stormwater. And as Kristen said, we've gone in front of the Conservation Commission and had a positive experience there.
Except you do have to go back to conservation
Yep.
based on this new plan, I assume.
Yeah, it got continued because they wanted to hear what you guys had to say, and it's a little back and forth on that. So it got continued to the next meeting.
So we're still waiting for your return to the Conservation Committee, plus the fact that to make sure the CI goes over and make sure that you answered all the questions that were given.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've still got some open issues on this matter. Are there any questions from any board members on this matter? Kristen?
I just had a couple questions for Barry.
Sure.
One of the, did you see the comments that fire provided
No,
recently? If you're able to answer.
might be able to.
The driveway grade appears to exceed the 10%. He asked if the homes will have automatic fire sprinkler systems.
I didn't think they were over the 10%. I do remember him talking about being able to get down there and getting his ladder up on top of the thing, which he shouldn't have any problem. But we can certainly discuss, and if that's a requirement for that, we can certainly put them in.
Okay.
So, through the chair, it's not going to be a requirement for the fire department, but I would also support residential fire sprinklers. It's pretty far away from the fire station, so life safety is always a concern for fire departments, and getting even a minute or two extra would be helpful, especially that distance. So
Agreed.
I would recommend or encourage the developer to put in fire sprinklers in the houses, even if it's not required.
Anything else? Kristen, anything?
The other comment that he had was just noting where the fire hydrant was located is in an area that had been designated for snow storage. So making sure that there's a clear space maintained around the hydrant is important. If you could double check, make sure. That was it from fire.
Thank you. This is still a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on this project? Yes, sir.
Hello, Anton Abaya, 3 Long Drive. I just wanted to quickly address the one comment that was made. We don't believe that WDA has addressed everything and all the issues. So the abutters are closely watching this case, and we're tracking 18 distinct material issues, 16 of which are major, 2 are important, arising from the applicant's plans, continued revisions, agency comments, the peer reviewers. So my first question is, does CEI have sufficient funds to continue the peer review process?
That's something they provided a proposal for. Up until this round, they expended their escrow. So now we have an amendment for the additional review, which WDA is waiting to talk to the owner about getting those funds secured.
Thank you. I wanted to talk about the Zone A sewer issue. I did mention the CMR 706, paragraph 3, and 1208, paragraph 10. I wanted to ask whether, which board or which agency within Westborough is responsible for making the determination on those CMRs as it pertains to Zone A. The reason I ask is if we can go back to C302 sheet, please.
Through the board, I can answer that real quick.
Okay.
Board of Health.
Excuse me?
Board of Health.
It's jurisdiction,
Makes the determination.
yeah, because it's drinking water.
Okay. So I had submitted an annotated version of this sheet a few days ago, and it was quickly updated by WDA to move the sewer lines and appurtenances, so accessories related to sewer, outside of that map Zone A boundary. So they quickly changed it, and the reason I'm asking is, those two CMRs do prohibit sewer lines in Zone A. I did check with Mass DEP directly, who told me that, yes, my interpretation is correct, but they're leaving it up to the town to make that decision. So again, I wanted to ask, if you read the CMRs, they require an exception to have those sewer lines and appurtenances. And from what I can tell, even in the latest revision that moved as many of them as possible, if you look at that house on the right, there is still a sewer line crossing over the Zone A boundary. So I guess I'll end with this. So I'm going to leave it to the town to decide on that one. My point is also that it seems that we have flags, right, that depicts the wetlands. We don't have flags depicting Zone A exactly where it is. And to move the sewer lines and appurtenances just outside, if you look at the two versions, just outside, it seems too easy to do on a piece of paper, right? And I'm not sure if this just warrants more review, given that these regulations exist for a reason. The last thing I wanted to just bring up is that whether the easement issue between 228 and 230 Ruggles has been resolved. I believe that was included in the CEI comments from, I think, DPW, if I'm not mistaken, and that it needs to be resolved. And I wanted to ask if there was a formal resolution on that or an agreement between the property owners.
Barry, do you have an answer on that?
Yeah, I believe there's an agreement between the homeowners. Unfortunately, there was some discussion early on and bad rumors that got passed that you have a drain line that's on my property or comes over, so thus you gotta terminate it, move it, block it, whatever, and that's obviously not gonna be the case at all. We've included in our stormwater reports the amount of water and so forth. We'll manage that as it comes down. It's gonna actually flow into this design seamlessly, so any kind of easements will be drafted up officially after we get approval of these plans. Don't want to spend legal money at the moment to formally create those easements for operation and maintenance of his neighbor's line. But as far as the flow, it's not intended to be capped. We'll do some improvements to make sure it flows into our system flawlessly. And
I mean, my assumption is that it will be a condition of any approvals that
I
we
would
give.
assume.
And if you can't get an agreement, then it sort of ends it right there.
they've talked, and after the last meeting, and we've come up with verbal agreements and so forth, and he agreed with how we're approaching handling the flow as it currently exists. So I don't foresee any kind of issue there.
That answer your question on that?
I just wanted to put on record that, to my knowledge, that agreement has not been met, and I do speak with the other property
Well,
owner.
as I said to you, or it will be probably a condition of the approval, and if they can't get the agreement, then there's going to be a problem with the plan, and they'll have to come back here and figure something out if they're going to continue.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you for
Thank
your
you. Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to comment on this project at 228 Ruggles Street? If there are any other questions from the board, otherwise I think we will continue this matter until our September meeting.
I move we continue the hearing until the
First,
September
First.
1st, 2026 meeting date.
Second.
All in favor? Oops. Okay, Barry, we'll see you on the 1st of September.
Excellent.
Okay,
Have a great rest of the summer, all.
thank you. And if you could just do some more clarification on this Zone A and where exactly that sewer pipe is going so that it doesn't crop up as a problem later on. I mean, obviously, it's the town that's going to make the decision and the approvals on this, but,
Yep.
you know.
We've been in
which-
discussion with Lisa, DPW, on that
All right, because we,
plan already.
you know, we certainly want a written opinion from them on how it's being placed and what's being done with it.
Yep,
Okay.
Hazel?
thanks.
And CEI, as part of the additional review they're going to do, they would be looking at those, the solution that Barry provided for the Zone A.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, 5 Technology Drive.
Let's see. So 5 Technology Drive came to us last time, and they described how they had revised their plans to move the footprint over a little bit to get away from the wetland area. They have submitted, since the last meeting, a revised stormwater report. McCarty provided a response to CEI's peer review comments on July 29th, and then CEI provided their review to those comments on August 3rd. So we just got those in. They went through everything that McCarty had responded, and I spoke with CEI yesterday, and we're in agreement. Everything's been addressed. They also provided a traffic memorandum. Something that Jenny had recommended was for them to, at a minimum, note the estimated employee counts by shift, anticipated delivery frequency and truck types, and basic site circulation operations. So they did provide their memo that discusses those items. And then we also had talked about a pilot agreement, a payment in lieu of taxes. So they shared the letter that they had sent to Select Board. I don't think that's been formalized yet, but we could reference that in a decision at that point. So, and then Fire also wanted a swept path analysis, which did get uploaded to the portal, so.
And you still have to go back to Conservation, I gather, at their next meeting on the vernal pool issue?
Yes.
Yes.
And so the only thing that right now is outstanding is just some additional landscaping that they're requesting for in the vernal pool buffer. And so at the last meeting, they didn't have a quorum, enough members for us to be heard. A couple of the items they did have enough members for, but for ours, they didn't have enough members for. So we're in front of them next week for just to talk about landscaping in the buffer zone. But at this point, we, as Kristen said, we're all set with CEI, all set with engineering. We've taken care of all the comments. And now we just need a draft decision from the board to be, I think, taken care of by Jenny when she has a chance to. And I know what your next meeting is probably about September 1st, right? So the hope is that we can go next week to get a decision from the Conservation Commission and be back before you on September 1st to have a vote.
Finalized on this, yeah. Yeah, I knew that those were the issues that were outstanding, and I would like to recommend to the board that we continue the public hearing on this. I don't really want to close the public hearing because they need to go back to Conservation. So my inclination is to continue the public hearing until September 1st, and hopefully we will have ironed out all the problems and have a decision, a draft decision at that meeting. Are there any questions from any board member on this matter?
I just wanted to see if the applicant had anything to add.
No, nope. Everything that we were asked for since the last meeting, we presented to the planning department. And like I said, it's too bad we weren't able to have that conversation with the Conservation Commission because we were hoping to come to you at least tonight with all that taken care of too at the same time, right?
Where are you on the pilot?
So The applicant submitted the pilot back to the select board a long time ago now, and they still haven't heard any kind of response back from anybody in the town on their thoughts on the pilot. And so they're willing to negotiate with the town on the pilot part of it, but they haven't heard anything back from anybody in the town, so.
Okay, all right. Kristen, maybe you could follow up on that and see where the town is on it. Okay. Any other questions from any board members? Could I have a motion then?
I move we continue the hearing until September 1st, 2026.
Is there a second?
Second.
Wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry, before that, was there anyone in the audience who wished to comment on this project? Okay, if not, I had a motion and a second. All in favor? Thank you. All right, 220 Turnpike Road and 161 Milk.
Okay, so this is a special permit for the sign. There's two signs, one at 161 Milk and one at 220 Turnpike. So we have two separate decisions. For the most part, the body of the decision is the same, except 220 Turnpike has one additional waiver. They had the issue with the bylaw requiring 35 feet from not only Turnpike Road, but from all lot lines, where 161 Milk does not have that issue. So I was going to start with the 220 Turnpike decision, and if you're okay with that, 161 is pretty much the same. I provided a copy of the draft to McCarty. You had an opportunity to review with the owners.
Correct. So on the Turnpike Road ones, we didn't have any comments on, and just on the 159, 61, I think it was on condition number 5, where it says 159/161, if we could do it 159 and 161, just so it's the wording of it, because I know they're concerned about how that's worded about with regards to how many sign spots they have.
Okay.
And so each user from 159 and 161 gets one spot in the signs.
Okay, now my question on that, one of the things is that in the location of the property and on page 1, we originally listed this as just 220 Turnpike Road. But the reference within the body of the opinion, the body of the motion for the permit, it talks about 218/220. And this is somewhat confusing in some ways. So my thought was where it says location of property and on the special permit decision on page 1 of the decision, that it say 220 Turnpike Road, also known as 218, or in some way there needs some clarification that we're talking two different addresses.
But it's one parcel, right?
It's
one parcel.
one parcel, but it's got two
two
addresses,
addresses.
and that's, yeah.
So it's,
No.
there's an A&R plan that cut up the piece of property into two properties. And so the sign actually will be on, actually the sign's going to be on 218. I think is how,
So it does reference that on the front page.
Their location of
I
property.
think that it was changed. Yeah, I mean, I talked to Kristen about it.
Okay.
If that's, and I didn't know whether, John, you'd seen that change, only because I was concerned about confusion with the decision, with the permit, to make sure that we referenced both those addresses.
I think they were in another part of the decision,
Yeah.
but the actual sign is going to be on the 218 Turnpike Road property.
Okay, and the sign is going to say 218 and 220
Correct.
on the sign itself?
Yes.
Okay. And I know you have an agreement between the owners as to who gets what percentage of the
Correct.
particular signs.
Correct. So 218 Turnpike, 159 and 161 Milk all get one placard on the sign, and then 220 gets two placards, because there's two businesses in that building.
All right,
So it's 5 total,
all right.
is how the decision was
Just want to make
drafted.
sure if someone's trying to find the building, they know what they're looking for.
Yes, it'll be clear for them, yes. Yep.
Does the board understand why I had a question about this? And
Yes.
try to get some
Did
clarification.
did Fred's concerns get addressed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fred,
on the sign,
Could he- yeah,
yeah,
could he
the
speak to that?
35 feet, yeah. I think there was a decision on that with Bill, was there not?
Yeah, Fred Lenard, Community Development Director for the town. They have a satisfactory agreement. That's part of the condition that myself and the building commissioner both agreed that it was fine. Is the
You're all
short
set?
answer. Thumbs up, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kristen. I guess you can go on through.
1 second, I just want to find the latest version that that had those changes.
There were many changes and many different
Yeah,
versions
let me
we
pull
got,
those
yes.
up. So I'll go with 220. The version that you guys have, does it have the 159/161 and
Yes.
that's not pulling up for me.
Which one are we doing? Milk Street, or are we doing 220?
220,
That's what I
I
thought,
think,
yeah.
because that has the additional waiver.
Right, okay.
I'm just trying to find the version that has the changes in it that I sent.
The newest one, I think you sent this afternoon about 4:30.
Yeah, it didn't have that. You're right.
Emery, do you have the newest version, by any chance?
I didn't. We had just made copies for the board.
Which decision are you looking for?
It's I made a change with
Right.
the comments that McCarty provided, and that version isn't,
I think, all I can tell you is that it was printed, Anne Marie printed them out, so.
yeah.
Do you want the printed out version, or are you trying to find a computer?
I was just trying to find it so we could share it on the screen,
Right.
but
I think it was about 4:30.
I guess I'll
you
just
sent
use
it
what
this
we have.
afternoon was my memory.
It's the one you emailed me, right? Can you email me the two of them after you updated them?
you have the updated one?
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Pardon me?
I do have the updated ones, yes.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to forward them to you?
Yeah, if you could email it, I could just pull it up on my screen.
The email that you sent today?
As it was the last one,
Not
as
at
I said, it was about
12:40.
4:30 maybe.
Pardon me?
You want them on a flash?
4:30?
Sure.
12:40?
No, after that.
No, it was after that.
The draft decisions? I don't have an email later than that with draft decisions.
Oh, okay. The ones today?
Yes. So we might have to save them back.
Oh, this doesn't show it? Yeah, I made
Must've been
those
afterwards then. Must've
changes.
been after you sent it.
This has it. The printed out copy has it.
It does, yeah.
Right, we're just trying to find the file.
We filed it so we could put it up on the board. Yeah, I know. we
Yeah, if
have
you
it.
could email it.
Oh, yeah, the electronic version doesn't.
He doesn't have it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think you emailed that to us. At least I didn't get it.
All right,
that may be.
so we'll just go with this one and then
Yeah,
make
go with
sure
that,
that the
and then we,
changes.
yeah, go with that, and then we'll just show where the
Yeah,
changes
we'll
are.
change.
Because I think the 12:41, 12:40 PM was the last one we got.
Now look, this one has it. Oh, that's 161. Not 220. All right. Oh,
Doesn't have it.
it doesn't. So what we'll have to do is we'll add up here, we put also known as 218. And then do you want us to put and 220 Turnpike?
No,
Or
it was
is
just,
this
another-
slash-
it was under one of the conditions on the Milk Street one that we were
Yeah.
worried about. Wording of it.
So this is the application for 220 Turnpike. And then if we go to the first page. The applicant is Wes Fliss, McCarty Engineering, representing 10X at 220 Turnpike LLC on behalf of Everrise. The location of the property is 220 Turnpike Road, map 27, parcel 40A.
And Kristen, add there the same language.
The same language.
Same language that you had on the first page.
Yep. As 218/220. We have the statement of facts. Do you want me to go through and read these items?
I don't think you need to go through
Is
each
there
one.
anything-
I think we've all read them, and we have them on the board there.
Okay.
So let's move on to the findings.
Okay. Let's see, the findings of fact state the owner, the land is situated in the zoning district classified under 4.1 of the zoning bylaw as business highway or highway business.
I think you're just in that first sentence, if you want to just make the reference on the 218 there.
What if it's just 218 and 220 on that one?
Yeah, that you could put 220 and 218.
And on 13.
So I guess the question on 13 then, the sign's actually on 218 only. Do we want to just put down 218 on that?
The larger sign to be located at,
It's going to be on the 218 Turnpike
Oh,
Road property.
218, not 220.
Correct.
Okay, then, yes.
has a maximum height of 153 inches and a maximum width of 19 inches. Both the larger and smaller signs will display Route 9 self-storage, mass restoration, Everrise, and Ball Financial Services, with one placard reserved on each sign for a future tenant. Multiple businesses associated with 159 and 161 Milk Street and 218 and 220 Turnpike Road share a common entrance and internal access roadway. The applicant and the owner of 218 and 220 Turnpike Road have executed a shared property allocation agreement, street signs, allocating ownership and use of each of the two street signs among the four addresses, with 159 and 161 Milk Street allocated one of the 5 designated spaces on each sign respectively.
So that's where, if you could change the slash to and,
Yep.
And I don't think they should be called street signs. Not street signs.
Property signs?
What are those usually called? Advertising signs? Pylon?
Pylon.
yeah, pylon, so yeah, pylon business signs, however you want to.
Change
So
it to
the
pylon
The
signs.
dimensions on the larger sign,
Yeah, I
That
was
was
just looking
one-
at that, yeah.
I have 189 by,
Why don't we call it a pylon business sign for clarification?
Pylon.
Business.
And then the maximum
height is
height.
189.
John, what was the other change you had?
Me?
No.
Oh,
It says a width of 19 inches.
Who is it?
oh, okay.
Because that's the width the other way.
But don't we have,
Should be like the,
yeah, another,
yeah, 120.
Thank you.
So the Maximum height is, oh. Maximum width of, which is 10.58 feet,
Just 10 feet there.
What?
10 feet,
just 10 feet even.
yep, and then it's,
189 inches is 15. Just 15.
And then for 14, did you want to,
that's fine,
that's fine?
yep. It was just the wording at the end of 15
Okay.
that I know Mark Johnson was, just want to make sure that his interest at 159 and 161 was stated correctly.
Okay. Pursuant to Section 6.2H1, the board finds that because of the conditions peculiar to this case, but not generally true for similar signage on other sites in the district, granting the special permit will not create a nuisance, hazard, or congestion, and will not result in substantial harm to the neighborhood or derogation from the intent and purpose of the bylaw. All right, waiver findings and performance standards in Section 6.2. So it says that the waivers won't create a nuisance. They relate solely to the sign content, allocation, and setback. They do not alter site access, parking, or circulation, and do not increase demand on municipal services or facilities. It fits in with the character of the existing signage along Turnpike Road, Milk Street corridor. The board finds that the objectives of the sign regulations are achieved, permitting shared wayfinding signage across the two related properties provides clear consolidated identification for businesses sharing a common access without proliferation of additional freestanding signs, consistent with the performance objective of improved site signage under Section 6.2J2G. The remaining performance objectives are not applicable to the sign, special permit for the sign. Based on the foregoing, the board makes the following specific waiver findings. A, off-premises signs from Section 8.2F. The board finds good cause to waive Section 8.2F given the shared entrance, internal access roadway, and common ownership arrangement documented in the shared property allocation agreement. B, one ground sign per enterprise. That's from Section 8.2E2B. To the extent this section would otherwise limit each enterprise appearing on the Turnpike Road sign from also appearing on the Milk Street sign, the board finds good cause to waive strict application of this provision, subject to the ownership and space allocation set forth in the shared property allocation agreement, which shall govern each party's right to display, storage, sale, or transfer of its allocated sign space. C, equal tenant sign area, Section 8.2E2D. The shared property allocation agreement allocates spaces unequally among the four addresses, 220 Turnpike Road, 2 of 5 designated spaces, 218 Turnpike Road, 159 Milk Street, and 161 Milk Street, 1 of 5 designated spaces each. The board finds good cause to waive the equal sharing requirement as the allocation was negotiated and agreed among the affected property owners, does not increase the overall sign area otherwise permitted, and does not create nuisance, hazard, or derogation from the intent of the bylaw. And finally, D, lot line setback requirements in Section 8.2C8F. To allow a pylon sign to be located approximately 11 feet from the lot line rather than the required 35 feet setback. The proposed sign will be located approximately 36 feet from Turnpike Road, thereby satisfying the general intent of the bylaws roadway setback requirement and maintaining the intended visual character and safety along the corridor.
Okay, so I just have one question. You talked to the building department and to Fred about this, and they are in agreement that these waivers are appropriate for this particular property and the sign. Fred, do you have any comments on this?
Yeah, Further Nara, Community Development Director, yes, I think that's appropriate.
Okay. I just wanted to check on that.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
And then otherwise, except as specifically waived above, it shall comply with the applicable performance standards of section 8.2.
Are there any questions to the board on this? Any additions or changes? Could I have a motion to accept the findings?
I move that the board vote to accept and approve the findings as previously listed.
Second.
All in favor? 5-0.
Okay. Then we move into the decision. They're all the standard boilerplate items to begin with.
In condition 1, Kristen, do we want to change street signs to pylon business signs?
Yes.
So,
Number 1, where it says street signs,
to pylon signs?
Highland business signs.
says it in 3.
Pylon business signs?
I mean, that's a better description, I think, really, of what we're talking about. And you need to change it on 3 also.
And then the last sentence, if we're doing the 218, 220, that should say Turnpike Road too. 220 Milk Street,
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
at the very end.
The very last
last
line,
line.
below 10.
The above requested relief is for the property located at 220 Milk Street.
Because this is the one, this is the 218.
218/220 Turnpike.
This got to be so complicated because the decisions are almost 100% the same. However, it's just making sure that you designated which property we're talking about.
Yep.
Else, do you want to go through any of these? Permit application include a plot plan. That was one that, the as-built plan,
Yep, we're fine, yep.
took that out. Performance standards. In the event the permit is not exercised within 3 years of the date of recording, the permit shall be deemed null and void. And failure to comply with the conditions shall be considered a violation and grounds for revocation of this approval following a public hearing as required by Chapter 48.
One suggestion I would make is if we just change the language in 9 to say, except for good cause as determined by the planning board, just say unless extended by the planning board.
Good idea.
Instead of determined, you want extended?
I mean, we can extend the
Yeah.
the
Right,
expiration
through the
date,
grading.
but then we have to find good cause, have to
Right.
enumerate what the good cause is, and it's easier to just extend it. If you
So
guys-
what was the change? Except,
It would just say, in the event that the permit is not exercised within 3 years of the date of recording, except if extended.
Unless
Yeah,
extended by
by
the planning board.
the permit shall be deemed null and void.
Okay, any board members have any other changes on this? If not, could I have a motion?
I move that we approve the special permit for 218, 220 Turnpike Road.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Okay, number one. Let's move on to Milk Street.
So 161 has the 159 and 169 Milk Street in the location of the property
Right.
description.
And the same location on page 2.
Everything is the same, except when we get to
15, I think is where the,
number 9, there was a A, B, C, D, and there was a D for 220. This one doesn't have that, it doesn't apply, so it's just A, B, C.
Before we move any further, 9C of statement of facts has street signs.
Sorry?
9C in statement of facts has street signs instead of pylon business signs. Start again, where we
Yeah.
go. 15 has it.
that's the one that if you could change the slash to and, if you don't mind.
Right. I think we also need to change
On the
10.
lower part, actually,
Yeah.
at the top, right there, yeah, please.
And we need to change 10. We're just 161 Milk Street.
Yes, yeah, right, to put 159 slash 161.
This is 159 slash 161.
And the sign is located at 161 Milk Street, is that correct? Or not? I'm sorry, did you have a comment? Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Johnson,
Right, Mark,
the owner of Camden
Right.
property. So I think the official address with the town, Kristen, correct me if I'm wrong, is the whole property is titled for 161 Milk Street, but we have another address on that same parcel of land, which is the 159.
That's what we're trying to
Yeah,
put into this, to make
So-
sure that it makes sense, so that when someone goes to look for it, if they're trying to look up, they can see what the decision was. Otherwise, they're not going to ever find this again.
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I think the proper should be 161 Milk Street, because that's what the land is
Okay.
addressed at. It's just we have that second building on the same property, so.
Do we need the width, Kristen, on number 13?
Those are correct,
Okay.
those are correct.
Yeah, that's why I just asked, actually, the sign is on 161. Okay.
Or the depth, I mean, did we need all 3 measurements?
We did it on the last one.
Okay.
Okay, you caught 15?
Yep.
Okay.
And
Is this different? Is that supposed to be August 4th?
no, I think we highlighted it because we were making sure we got it. and
Oh,
We
okay.
just got it today.
Got it, okay. Thank you.
All right, are we all set with findings?
We all set with findings? Okay, could I have a motion on the findings?
I move that the board approve and accept the findings as previously written.
Second.
All in favor? It's 5-0. All right, decision. Is there anything different on this from the preceding decision? Oh, you want to change 9.
And 1, 3, and 4 have street signs in it as well.
Yeah, 4 does, yeah.
Yeah, so just
3.
mimic the conditions from the
Yeah,
previous decision.
previous one, okay. And add the language on 9. that we put in the preceding decision. And I think on the last sentence, it'd be 159/161 Milk Street.
Because on 9, it was what, unless extended by the planning board, is that right? Was
We
that-
added that language, yeah, right. And that would be on 9.
9.
It'll just mirror the other decision.
And then at the end, it just says 161, so 150.
Like, that's everything.
Have we confused you enough, Kristen?
All in there.
You all set? Okay. Are there any other additions or changes? If not, could I have a motion?
I move that we approve the special permit for 159/161 Milk Street.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, thank you, Wes.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
I move that we close the public hearing for these two applications.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? I'm sorry, before that, was there anyone wanted to comment on this application? If not, I close the public hearing. All in favor? Okay, thank you.
Decisions were well-written.
Good job.
Okay.
All right.
What do you think? Yeah.
All right. The next matter is a de minimis modification for 171 Milk Street and 222 Turnpike Road. It's a change in the unit composition, which had a request from post-development. If you could explain what you're doing and why, and the fact that there is no change that would cause us to have to make a major
Thank you, Madam
change.
Chair. Brian Falk from Myrick, attorney here on behalf of the applicant, Post Road Residential. This is entirely an internal change. The total number of units stays the same at 206. Total number of parking spaces, building layout, dimensions, everything external to the building stays the same. Within the building, we shifted around the bedroom counts among the different unit types, studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom. And that results in a net increase of 12 bedrooms. So we go from 297 bedrooms to 309 bedrooms, but the total number of units stays the same, again at 206. We increased the number of studios and 2 bedrooms at the expense of some 1-bedrooms. Overall, the total mix is 54% either studio or 1-bedroom, so we're still on the smaller side overall.
Okay, and then I know that I asked Kristen to check and make sure there was no problem with the septic, and I think everyone had a copy of the letter on this, that it would not make any change on that aspect. I think that was my major concern, is that there'd be no change as far as that went. Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
What was the driver of this change?
So as we're getting closer to construction drawings, made some changes to some of the common spaces and just basically wall design and placement, and it made the most sense to do this. It really was partially market, but partially just the layout of the building as we fine-tune the program.
Kristen, do you have any comments on this?
No, just that I wanted, to confirm, like he said, there's no additional, as far as the affordability component. That was all based on percentages, so a percentage of the total units. It wasn't like a specific type of unit, so none of that really is affected. They still have to do 10% at 80% and 5% at 120. So none of that aspect is changed. Parking is the same because that was based on units, 1.4 spaces per unit. And then like Hazel had said, I reached out to Lisa and she confirmed, the 12 additional bedrooms is insubstantial for the sewer allocation. We have more than enough to provide that. It doesn't have any effect on flows, et cetera, so.
Would it have a positive effect of increasing the number of affordable bedrooms, keeping the affordable units the same, but some of those units may increase in bedroom size or bedroom number?
Yes, because we have to have, of our 15% total affordable, it has to be evenly distributed across the unit types and within the building. So more bedrooms would have more affordability, absolutely.
Okay.
Hazel, I just have
Yes, go
a
ahead.
quick question. So in the emails, Kristen, you had sent along from Tom, he mentioned about trying to get building permits by December. Now, he said something about the stretch code and trying to get in before that. Is that the new stretch code that Westborough voted on at this last town meeting?
That's correct, through the chair. That takes effect January 1st. So a building permit application that is submitted and approved before January 1st would be subject to the current building code, the stretch code.
And I think I know the answer to this, but why does he want to get it in before that stretch energy code kicks in?
When they planned the project and did the pro formas and calculated, the buildability and financeability of the project, it was under the stretch code. It wasn't under the new energy code, which definitely adds cost to a project.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Right, could I have a motion then?
Do we need to make a determination of that it's a minor modification or just approve the minor modification?
I think we'd make a determination that it is de minimis and then approve it.
I move that the planning board find that the proposed changes for 171 Milk Street and 222 Turnpike Road
I think this only applies to one building, doesn't it?
That's correct. This is for the north parcel only.
Only for the north parcel. Which is the one on,
171.
which is the address on that one?
171
The
Mill.
address is on the agenda, that's why I'm reading it.
Yeah, you'd only need one address on that, I think, because it's only one building.
Okay. So is it 171?
So and this is from the decision, it's a couple different parcels that comprise of the north parcel, and they do, so it's 171 Milk Street, 221 Turnpike Road, 223 Turnpike Road. That's the three addresses that make up the north parcel.
Oh, okay.
171, 221, and 222?
171 Milk, and then 221 and 223 Turnpike Road.
Okay. Okay.
I move that the planning board find that the proposed unit count change for 171 Milk Street, 221, and 223 Turnpike Road are considered de minimis, and we approve that change.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck on the
Appreciate it.
project.
Thank you.
All right. Kristen, any update from the planning department?
Yep. Okay. So in regards to the downtown improvement project, Kimley Horn did provide their final report that was posted on the town's website. If you go to departments, planning, and then downtown improvement project, under plans and resources, there's a downtown improvement final report dated June of 2026. So that has been posted. We've shared that with the board. I believe everyone here has been reviewing and analyzing the report, and it will need to be determined at what point there'll be further discussion and a planning board agenda item for this topic.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to work also with the Board of Select on this and set up some sort of a schedule, because obviously there will be a public hearing, and want to make sure that everybody's had a chance to look and analyze it, and then move forward with a public hearing.
Hazel, didn't we also say that, until we have a new planning director, that we wouldn't be making any decisions?
I think this is something, obviously, that we would very much like to have
Right.
before we move forward. And just an update on that quickly is that I have not heard anything from Christie. I've asked her whether we've had any applications. So far, I've had no information from her on this. She has been on vacation, I know, though, and just got back this week. So hopefully we'll have an update soon.
Can I just add to that? I feel like we shouldn't wait for to hire a new planner to review this. If that's what you're saying.
Oh,
right?
that's what I thought we had said at a previous meeting.
Yeah, I'm just,
we can-
now that I think more about it, I don't know how long it will take for us to
Well,
find
I
someone.
think this is the problem, is that we
Yeah.
thought maybe this would be a quick process and we could move forward accordingly. But I think at this point, it's a matter of setting up some sort of a schedule and following that schedule, whether or not we have a new planner. But we need to, move forward. Obviously, we can't wait forever on this. But I would like to make sure that we work with the Board of Select, because we certainly want their help on this. It really should include the Board of Select or the Planning Board to, I think, hold some open hearings on this so that the people that are really involved in this, as far as the town management goes, are included in any hearings that we have and any discussions.
So would you rather do a joint meeting? rather
No,
than-
I don't think we need a joint meeting, but I do think that we want to do things in concert so we don't have the Board of Select doing one thing and the Planning Board doing another thing, even though it's been turned over to us, because you will note, and I don't know, I think Christie did send a memo out to everyone concerning parking spaces in the downtown area, and the thing is that they sort of put it in our ballpark, but at the same time, any research or information that would come from that should be something that came from the police department, should be making the decision for safety reasons as to which parking slots should be removed. It's not up to the planning board to make a decision on that. So that there is information that we need to get that has to be directed actually by the Board of Select. We cannot direct the police department to do this kind of a review, but it would be up to the Board of Select to direct them to do that. And I think that probably is the kind of information that we need in order to really review the kind of step forward that we might want to take.
So I guess what are you proposing as next steps?
Well, for us at the moment, I think we need to set up a schedule, but I'm not quite sure how to move forward on that, because there is information we need. I think at this point, what we might do is request the Board of Select to direct the police department to do a review of the parking situation downtown and their suggestion that some of the spots perhaps be removed for safety reasons. So perhaps a letter from the planning board or a request from the planning board asking them to direct the police department to move forward on that might be appropriate at this time.
I don't think, and obviously this is just my opinion, I don't think we need to wait for that to have the conversation about the consultant's report. From my perspective, I feel like we can either make a suggestion of moving forward with the peanut, call it whatever you want to call it. We can either keep downtown exactly the way it is, or we can move forward with some type of hybrid, which was like this short-term interim plan, right? So I think we at least need to come, we have this report, I think maybe by next meeting.
No, that, I wasn't saying we shouldn't discuss it to the next meeting.
Okay.
No, I wasn't saying we
Yeah,
shouldn't do that. But what I'm saying is, in concert with this, we also should be, if there's more information which we'd like to have, we need to get started now. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah, no, I mean, we have received the report. We will have to make a decision as to whether we're going to accept the report, whether we're not going to accept the report, whether we're going to accept a part of the report. So we will need to make a decision on that ourselves before we move forward. Kristen?
I think one suggestion that I have for the board is, for your homework between now and the next board meeting, to go to that table at the back of the report where they gave the suggested short-term improvements. I think there were 15, maybe, there were several. And maybe in your head or mark on your sheet, if you had to name them from 1 to 15, what your highest priority you believe to be, and then we can have that'll guide our discussion to see where you're in consensus with each other, and then go from there.
Yeah, that's, if you want to do like the short term.
Right.
Yeah, right, if you want to do peanut.
Right, that's a part of the discussion, but at least for that section.
But looking at the report, it gives rough pricing, which obviously I don't know what this costs, and I'm going to take it for its word right now,
Right.
but at least can get us in the direction we need to go.
Good, thank you. So it will be on the agenda at our next meeting.
And the report was sent to us on the 15th of July.
July, yes.
Right?
Yeah. And is available for the public.
All right, the next item, the zoning article number 31, that was for the downtown business district that was approved at the spring town meeting. We were notified by Attorney General that there was an administrative error with the posting at the clerk. It's required to be 14 days prior to the hearing date, which was February 3rd was the hearing, so it needed to have a stamp from the clerk January 20th, and that was posted January 27th. So it was posted a week ahead of time instead of 14 days. So now the town council is handling that error.
Yeah, Kristen, I mean, I looked on this administrative error. I don't know how it's going to be dealt with as far as the Attorney General and our town council. However, one thing I'm a little concerned about is that if this would have to be renoticed and re-put before the town, would we be able to, someone needs to check, or could you check with Christie or town council to find out whether there's a possibility that we would put this on the October meeting? Because otherwise, any town meeting is going to have to wait till the spring to run this through again. So if there's some possible way, I believe there was an appeal on this by a resident.
This Friday, August 7th, that period closes, so we should be able to get in touch with the town attorney to understand how quickly after that we would get a decision from the Attorney General to know if we would need to go to.
Exactly, and that's mainly my concern, because I have to wait till the next time around, if we can get some timing on that. Okay?
I've mentioned before, there's a regional walk audit, train the trainer event. We're having that August 28th. So the intent is a train the trainer. We're going to invite people, groups in town that would then go and train others interested in doing this in the future. So I've invited Active Transportation and Safety Committee, the Friends of Bewalt expressed an interest, and then I also invited Disability Commission. So within those groups, there's people that are going to volunteer to be trained as the experts, and then if someone comes forward from the community and says, I'd really like to do a walk audit in my neighborhood, one of these groups If staff's not available, because we don't have bandwidth, one of the people from these groups could go out and tell them how to do it or assist them with their walk audit. So we're excited about that because it's a great networking opportunity with our neighbors, get a chance to meet people that are involved in these transportation type projects in other towns. So just wanted to let you know that's happening, and I'll report back at our next meeting how that goes. The active transportation plan, we kicked off the project. That's pretty much all that we've done to this point. VHB, our consultant, is working on reviewing and analyzing existing conditions. Part of that is reviewing reports that we have that have been created. And then they'll continue on doing a gap analysis next. We have not identified advisory groups or who would be involved in as far as stakeholders. All we've done is kicked off the project and determined what the timeline, the general timeline is going to be while they do their preparation and homework. The public workshop would be the first engagement. Instead of a public meeting, it's going to be designed more like a workshop with small tables and working groups. Anyone will be invited to that. That time frame is September, October. So in the meantime, you know, as VHB reaches out to collect different data that they need, I'll be in communications with them. We're at the farmers market on Thursdays, so there might be an opportunity between now and when we do that first public workshop to do surveys, ask questions, get people involved even before the first workshop starts. So if anyone has suggestions or comments on that, we're definitely open. I can relay that message to VHB. Let's see. The only other thing was the email, I think, that I forwarded the board about the suggestion for open forum that was shared on the planners listserv. Many planning boards are discussing open forum, and one thing that was commented on was that they utilized it at the end of the meeting, and they found that to be really helpful. So that might be something that you consider as an agenda item on one of your next agendas.
Well, I think we really, as of September 1st, we will be putting open forum at the end versus at the beginning.
We want to share, like, I thought the rationale was strong. It essentially, I'll miss some of the points, I'm sure, but it was essentially, you know, if there was an open item, that would give the board an opportunity to respond. And then if not, by the end of the meeting, if the response is still kind of, someone still wants to share that, then it's easier to know whether it goes on to an agenda item for a future meeting versus being addressed within that meeting itself.
Yeah. If you just share at the farmer's market, you were at the farmer's market with
Yep.
the building inspector.
I don't know.
With Bill, the chairman of the building department.
I don't know if Westborough TV, where we position the easels, if you're able to show that. But planning was at the farmer's market this past week. We have a project in community development called the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness 2.0 project. That's making sure that Westborough addresses the needs of people, neighborhoods, and environment in the face of climate change impacts like extreme heat, flooding, strong storms, and we want to make sure we engage with people in Westborough who experience higher social and environmental burdens, focusing on populations that have historically been left out of decision-making, such as English as a second language, renters, people experiencing food instability, seniors and youth, and people with disabilities. So we'll be working on that project. We created these boards that show, it breaks Westborough into a north and a south section. And as people stop by the table, we ask them where they lived. So we put a red dot to show where people live that are coming to the farmer's market. And then we asked 2 questions, what do you love about your neighborhood or Westborough in general? And then what could improve life for your family? And people gave us some suggestions. This is only the first time we've done this, so we'll bring the boards back at the next farmer's market and continue to add to those responses. But it is interesting, if you just look at the initial round, most of the people at the farmer's market were in that southern section of town, not above Route 9. And so we talk about some of the impacts of Route 9 and how people can't get to services that they need sometimes. Those are the kind of things that we're trying to fish out. So I thought it was really helpful. So
Were
take
there
a
any
look.
unexpected questions to the planning board while you were there?
I
Out of
don't,
curiosity?
no, not this time. I don't think so. But people love to talk, and we're there. We sign up for at least once a month. Planning's usually there a couple times a month, so if anybody ever has anything they want to discuss, just like John had his office hours at the library for a while on Fridays, you can use the farmer's market for that same purpose.
Well, thank you for doing it. Really appreciate it. Okay, have anybody been to any committee meetings?
No, but capital expenditures is starting to kick off their fall effort soon.
All right.
Haven't had a meeting yet,
comes
but
there.
we've scheduled the meetings
Oh, okay.
for September.
That's a start.
Yeah.
All right, minutes.
Minutes of July 7th. Has everyone had a chance to look at them?
Yep.
Yes.
Any edits? Can I have a
Vote on
motion?
these since I was not here.
Yes, you can vote on minutes even
Okay,
if you
because I
weren't here.
did review them.
Yeah, you can vote even though you weren't there, yeah.
The only changes I would have are there's just a couple, looks like track changes, just to get rid of those. I think it's on page 4.
Okay, I move that we accept the minutes for July 7th with minor corrections.
Second.
All in favor? It's 5-0. Can I borrow your pen?
All right, our upcoming meeting dates are the 1st of September and the 15th of September. Now, I do know that the warrant's going to close the end of September for the October meeting, and we have no zoning things as such at this particular time.
What about the signs? When are we going to get the signs on for the fall town meeting?
Not this year. I don't see that happening at this point. I think we have to wait till the next one on this one. But my main concern was whether we have to renotice on the business downtown zoning. So that would have to be in there before the end of September in order for them to,
Town meeting?
excuse me, what?
Do you know what day is town meeting? October
I've seen it. It's in the early 20s.
20s, 24?
I can't remember. I think it's on a Monday too, isn't it? It's usually Monday night.
Oh, that's right, okay.
I think it's Monday night. Is there anything else anybody'd like to bring before the board tonight? If not, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? 5-0. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your summer.